Welcome to The Path, Part 25, Pleasure and Pain. What is pleasure and pain? The Book of Light teaches three kinds of sensations: pleasure, pain, and that which is neither pleasure nor pain. The Book of Light also teaches that whatever you feel belongs to suffering. That's a very radical difference. Whatever you feel belongs to suffering. Because even feelings are transitory. And the object of your feeling is also transitory. You feel pleasure, you feel pain. Both are transitory. It has to do in regard to the impermanence of things, that whatever you feel belongs to suffering. Because things are subject to annihilation, teaches the Book of Light, to destruction. And pleasure in them ceases, and they are subject to cessation, to changeableness. And there you have transitoriness as an infallible criterion when you look upon suffering. And everything follows this law of transitoriness. All things are impermanent. All things are subject to annihilation, to destruction. And most people say, this is very negative thinking. No, it's realistic thinking. And I don't say it with anger or fear or sadness in my heart. Just realistic. All things are impermanent. Tell me one thing that's not impermanent. Good. Now, whatever I want, the object of my willing, the object of the external world, everything you will concede to be transitory without exception. There's a continual change. There's incessant dissolution. This is evident. Now, things become a little different when we have the immediate manifestation of our willing in what we call the personality. Now, that's for many people may agree, yes, this and that is transient, and okay, I agree, but my personality. Personality derives from the Latin persona. It has two meanings. It means mask, and it means to sound through, be vibrated through, personare. Personare. Now people say, my personality lies outside the realm of transitoriness. Entirely. Some Christian people, entirely. So per se, are we immortal? We end up an immortal person in heaven. Really? Really? Look at your Bible, look at your Quran, and read the words correctly. There will be a new earth, a new heaven, and so forth and so on. Transitory everywhere. I just point clearly to something that you may now respond emotionally to, but the thing is clear. The thing is clear. Difference. We have to face this. The personality has the great problem to acknowledge transitoriness. People say, yeah, everything else is obviously perishable and therefore painful, but my personality not. let us take every imaginable trouble to make clear that everything connected with the personality, and therefore personality itself, is without exception subject to the law of transitoriness and subject to dissolution and decay. Therefore, to be put under the, so to speak, under painful, the part of painful. I lack sometimes the English words. My English is very poor. Forgive me. I try to do my best. The Chauhan said, you fool. I asked him, Chauhan, what is it? You fool, sit down and write. Let's look at personality, difference. Because I know you cling to personality. I know that. I was clinging to it too. So let's see. Let's dissolve personality into its different parts. We have a corporal form. We have sensation, perception, mentation, consciousness. And each of them has the characteristic of transitoriness. It's present in each of them. So if we want to dare to follow that thought, dear friends, it's a daring thought. The longer you listen to me, the more your life will change. Be aware of it. Maybe you should stop here. Don't continue listening. The more you listen, the more things will change. And it may be even painful. I warn you. May be painful. But it's a healing pain. I can promise you that. I went through that healing pain, I can tell you. Let us see. The essence of personality should become clear to us so that we can say, I'm not that personality that experiences pleasure and pain. You see where I'm heading to? The truth is beyond pleasure and pain. The great Buddha said, before I found the pleasure or the happiness beyond the pleasure of the senses, I always fell into the pleasure of the senses again. That may happen to you too. You may listen to me, you may be convinced and this and that, but then comes life with its pleasures. And you tap again, you tap into the trap. But it will happen less and less. If you continue listening, I tell you that much. If you continue listening, it's dangerous. Some people wrote me, it happened faster with them. After a month, their relationship broke up with a partner. Why? Because they have risen so fast. And he or she wouldn't follow. Would say, what are you doing? So I listened to Lenu, or rather to what the Mahachohan dictated to him. What is the personality? The personality experiences pleasure and pain. Let me shock you. I was in a toilet on the railway in Germany. I left the car and went to the toilet. So it was a bestial stinking. It was horrible. I did my thing and wanted to leave the toilet. I said, wait a moment. wait a moment. That's not me who experiences that. It's my personality. So I went back into the toilet. Nobody was there. Closed the door behind me. I remained in that stinking shithole. In that, it was like you cannot imagine. Meditative, I observed the impact it had on me. The impact. And suddenly, I felt no more aversion against it. I realized the stench, yes, sure, the smell, but not like before. I noticed it was there, but my judgment about disappeared. And suddenly it was for me, for the real me, no more pleasure and pain. Glory to the Book of Light. Glory to the Book of Light, dear friends. But we have to, in order to understand pleasure and pain, we have to, I was speaking, I think, before about it, in some other lecture about personality. We have to do it again. Repetition is the best teacher. We will understand now the personality, its power it has over us, and we have to regain the power over personality. So let's take a look at personality. In order to win a fight, we have to identify the enemy, would be good. It's not always possible. In a street fight, I had some street fights. You have to react immediately. You have to make an assertion. You have to see a definition. Sometimes you don't know. Does he have a knife or something, a gun or whatever? Yet sometimes you have to attack immediately. Immediately. You're alone in some alley, you know what I mean? No. But here we are in a different situation. We have, excuse me, I have a pneumonia and I think my lungs won't do it very long. So that doesn't concern me. I use this body. I have none to do with it, other than I use it to speak to you, tell you that much. So, we have to identify the enemy. Personality has 5 groups. Did you know that? A grasping group. The corporal form, when you grasp something with your hands. Grasping group. As a corporal form. Then there is a grasping group of sensation. Oh, what is that? Grasping group of sensation. And you have a grasping group of perception. And last but not least, grasping group of mind, and further, a grasping group of cognition. Please become familiar with these terms. Corporal form, grasping form, corporal form, perception, activities of the mind, cognition. Sensation also. Yeah? And these are 5 groups of grasping. They and nothing else constitute your personality that you are not, otherwise you wouldn't experiencing, as we talk about now, the arising and passing away of the activities of these groups. Now the personality must be very cautious now, because every word is now like a ton of meaning. Sensation, the body, sensation, perception, activities of the mind, and cognition. Again, body, sensations, perceptions, activities of the mind, and the cognition. I call them, or the Book of Light calls them, groups of grasping. It's all grasping. It's all grasping. You gain now insight. It may be an insight that may shake your kundalini. The personality is exhausted by these 5 groups. And I summed it up in them. And I call them the groups of grasping. In order to comprehend something as a number of groups, you have to understand the general character of these groups. They are groups of grasping. They constitute the personality. The moment you get into the world, you grasp. Even in your mother's womb, you grasp. So let us look at these groups of grasping. And because you can look at them, you are not them. Because they have an arising and a passing away. So you are not your body, you have a body. You are not your emotions, you have emotions. You are not your thoughts, you have thoughts. You are not your breath, it's breathing you. And you then also influence the breath, yes, but when you sleep, for instance, who is breathing? So even that you're not. Can you already see that it is better to define what you are not than what you are? If 10 people sit around an apple and they all discuss, scientists, educated scientists, they discuss how could the kernel or the core of this apple look. And the one says, that's this shape. And the other says, no, the shape is rounded there and then there's. No, it's that big. No, it's a little smaller. Little boy comes and cuts the apple. Said, here, there you have the solution. What did he do? He removed what the core is not. That's how we deal on the Book of Light. Don't ask, who am I? Ask, who am I not? Observe it in meditation. And cause a better reincarnation for your next life, not to speak of nirvana now. This, of course, for some people say, I don't want to come back into this world. Sorry, no. Oh. You're in the right place here, I can tell you. You are in and at the right place. There is I would suggest to you to study Sanskrit, though. You can study it in the Book of Light. You have the lessons there. Follow the Book of Light lessons, Sanskrit. It will help you not only to understand Sanskrit, but to experience the power of its terms. For instance, when I say Sakaya, then I mean personality. This composition from Sat and Kaya. Kaya, sort of a definition given at the beginning of this chapter. It's a definition that I gave at the beginning or a couple of minutes ago. Corporal form. But about that we talk the next time. There was a phone call and I have to do something else. See you. Bye.